Hello, I'm Kevin and I play The Binding of Isaac. This is hopefully first of many episodes. So this is gonna be just like a prologue of where I just kind of go through. Hold on, what is it, man? Why is it so loud? This is a prologue of what this whole channel and series is gonna be all about. I had a few different iterations. Not iterations. Just kind of like outlook, plan, direction, purpose of all this creative energy and video creation. And I thought it's about time that I start doing something about it. And again, this is a prologue episode, not a real one. So I just want to, I guess, talk about why I'm doing it all, what my plans are with this, and that's kind of about it. Hold on, let me So I don't think I'll spend too much time talking about the gameplay unless it's really notable. It's gonna be mostly me talking about like personal anecdotes and stuff that I just kind of want to talk about, and I don't necessarily always have someone to tell it to. That's kind of a lie. I have my people or other things in my life, other characters in my life that I can talk to. It's not always an appropriate time though, so I think put it into a voice memo like this is kind of my goal. Actually, let me switch the music. No, not that. How do I change the music? I thought I could. You know what? We'll work on that another time. Again, it's gonna be mostly personal anecdotes off my own kind of things I want to talk about. And this is gonna be mainly directed to just the personal people in my life, and I guess other people that care enough to listen in on what I have to say. It's gonna be because of the things that I do in my life and in my job and my personal life. It's gonna be honestly mostly relatable to me and no one else. And I'll be surprised if other people can relate to it. This is gonna be, and the Binding of Isaac is gonna be essentially just a sauce. Like when I think of McDonald's. McDonald's, when I order fries at McDonald's, I'm not there to just eat the fries. I'm there to eat like the ketchup or like other sauces that McDonald's has. Like sauce is a backdrop to. No. The fries are the backdrop. The fries are the backdrop to the sauces that the McDonald's also provides. And in the same way, the Binding of Isaac is just gonna be a side to the things that I talk about in my kind of solo podcast thing, I suppose. And so this is, again, directed to the people in my life, and honestly, no one else. This is for your ears only. I should mention the people in my life, the characters that this project is directed to. First, Jacqueline, who's my cat that I love very much. And Harry, who is my loyal dog. Both of these characters we have been through thick and thin, so that's why I feel like I can trust them to kind of listen to these things and not judge me too harshly, or at least, you know, not in the wrong ways. And as for my Binding of Isaac, I've played a whole lot of it. I feel like I can play most of it without really thinking. It's I have about 1,600 hours, which is quite a bit. Most of it was kind of as a, like, as I was watching something else in the screen, and I'm just mindlessly playing Binding of Isaac. And that is what I'll continue to do, except instead of just like not saying anything or like talking to myself in my own head, I'm talking out loud, which is, you know, different, admittedly. And also it does sound a little schizophrenic now that I say it out loud, but it's not really what that sounds like. I'm not talking to anyone in my head, for the record. It's that I'm just playing Binding of Isaac, and I'm just kind of killing time, you know, letting the day kind of slip by. And this way, it's a little bit different. I can it's a little bit more guilt free, because this is now called creative. It's called a creative export. Sure. And you could listen to it, you could watch it, whatever. So these are directed for you. And as for directions of what I want to do, I'm sure it'll change over time. I was thinking of initially just trying to get Dead God, which is, I guess if you don't know what that is, it is trying to 100% the game. But in order to do that, it takes a lot of time more than anything. It takes luck and skill, sure, but more than anything, it takes time. And it also takes a lot of brain power. And I tried, and I really can't focus on talking while I'm, you know, doing a challenge, challenging game. It is rather difficult, and honestly, I'd rather not subject myself to really like wringing my brain for conversational topics while I'm like thinking of like trying to focus on dodging when I'm at 1 health, stuff like that. And Eden runs, I'm so used to it that I can just kind of like play without really thinking too much. Does that mean I'm gonna have like 100% win rate or 99% win rate with a ton of win streaks? No, it's just means that it's easier on my neurons, less stress on them, and it's if it's something I can avoid, I'll choose not to. But that doesn't mean it'll always be like this. Again, this is just an idea still. It's in the idea phase. And also doesn't mean that I'm gonna play perfectly now that I'm playing an easier character with easier parameters and easier goals. it's less pressure on my white and gray matters that seem to be really really slow after the holidays. And I don't want to talk about the holidays. It's just I'll get to it in later playthroughs. Probably the next one. This one again. This is like a foreword or a prologue as I call it. And you know how like every book, not every book, a lot of books have a prologue where it's like, oh, to my lovely wife who has been on my side for 60 years and has been waiting for this book for longer than anyone else. This is essentially that. This is to Jacqueline and Harry, who have waiting for me to do something interesting for longer than anyone else. But I do hope that this is interesting for other people, and I actually most of all, I hope it's interesting for me, and I hope that I have fun doing it. Because that's really what matters the most, isn't it? It's like I can't keep doing this if I'm not the one having fun. I'm doing this mostly because other things in my life aren't fun. And if I'm not having fun doing this, then it's just like back to the drawing board, gotta find something more fun to do. But for the record, it's just like I have recorded a few before, kind of like doing this one. Actually, I probably filmed about 25 not full playthroughs. Just like trying audio setups, different filters, whatever, right? Trying to get the pattern of things before I really commit to really making something and uploading it and whatever. And if other people, want to criticize the stuff that I have to say, or the way that I play, or whatever, unless you're Harry or Jacqueline, I don't think I'll care too much. And again, if I'm having fun, that's really what matters the most here. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. Also, I didn't want to change the... Oh, there we go. Set soundtrack. I want to play with Minecraft Story Mode soundtrack. I think it's the most fitting. It's not too intense. It still captures the whimsy of the game while taking away the intensity, because what I'm going to be talking about is probably going to be rarely intense, if ever. Obviously, it's just not going to be like politics or anything like that. It's going to be personal anecdotes. I have already started. So again, I have recorded a few before, like Christmas holidays, Christmas, 2025. Ooh, Christmas 2025. I don't even know what year it is. Recorded a few before Christmas time, and then during the Christmas time, I wrote down, or like I texted myself a few things that I think might be interesting to talk about. And that's kind of how things will go. It's going to be personal anecdotes. And if your reaction to that is like, okay, not like, I don't think anyone in my personal life will say this, but if outsider is listening in, they're like, oh, you're copying so and so, probably Northern Line. Oh, you're copying Northern Line. I'm gonna probably say that you got called out on day 1 on episode 1 prologue, that if you're calling me unoriginal, then you certainly are no better. because you got called out on day one, and I would advise you to look inward and find something better to do than criticize others for I don't know, like trying to do something interesting. Oh, but it's not that interesting. Shut up, man. And I have a little bit of prerequisites before recording things. I have I'm no veteran in content creation. I don't even want to call it content creation. That word is so overused in this day and age in the online communities. Like video making. I guess it is content creation, so I do have to call it content creation. But I do have experience in content creation, and honestly, my whole I have siblings too. Those characters, my siblings as characters, will be revealed as time goes. But for now, I'll wait until this is the right time to really kind of unravel those characters in my life. But my brothers and I have both gravitated towards content creation for some reason. I think it's because of growing up in the internet era. Something about growing up in the internet era is like, oh, it's interesting, it's fun, and you know, not necessarily for the money of things. I don't think it's because that's what we grew up with. And I honestly have actually, at least with one of my brothers, I have a secret, like underhanded, like a soft competition of who will be most consistent, who will be kind of most interesting to, like, which one creates the most interesting videos and content. And because my brothers and I, we all consume different content, we have a different idea of what we find interesting. And I think that's the beautiful thing in the world, that we all like different things, so we all create different things. And there will be no shortage of diversity of minds in this world, and that's my brothers is kind of a living proof of exactly that. I don't have a schedule of how often I want to record. It's just kind of when I feel like it, when I have time for it. And frankly, I have time. Not always the energy, but I certainly have the time to. So it's something to keep my mind occupied. And why do I have the time and all that? That'll be to be uncovered as time goes on, I suppose. This is the investment phase. So whether you're in my personal life or not, I think this is a great time to buy Kevin stocks, and because it's only up from here, huh? Oh, that's not true, but you know, like I think it'll be interesting, and I guess that's what matters in the end. What else do I need to cover for a prologue? Who, what, where, when, who? Okay, I'm Kevin. I live in Canada. what else can I share for the prologue? The thing with prologue is you don't want to share too much, right? It should be appropriately called prologue for a reason. And I do have like, again, I've recorded a few, and I feel like I just want to like keep continuing from where I last ended off, which is, you know, a few steps in from a prologue. But this is where it gets, this is where the rubber meets the road, and I think I have to treat it as such. I have to take it a little bit slower. And by taking it slower, I mean not, you know, blowing my load on the first recording. But so I mean, as again, it's been a little, even after, you know, a handful of preemptive recordings for practice, I'm still like planning to reiterate balance. Mostly I've been focused on audio because that's really what I honestly want to focus on. I don't want to focus on other I think everything else will come in time. I rebound my Emperor key. I forgot what caps lock, that's what it was. So I will continue to, I should have saved my Emperor card. I would like to continue to reiterate on my, you know, on this video project thing. I'm gonna call it a video project. I don't want to call it like, because that's what it is. Is it a YouTube channel? Sure. Is it more than that? Kind of. Because it's not a conventional YouTube channel, in my opinion. It's not Binding of Isaac. Sure, it's Binding of Isaac gameplay. But is this gonna help you really understand Binding of Isaac? That's not the idea. This is more of my like journal. And this, by reading, or not by reading, by watching this or continuing to watch these videos, you're certainly not gonna get, maybe you'll find it very informative in terms of understanding the game. But that will be a byproduct. That'll be the fry. That will certainly not be the ketchup. Or, you know, honey mustard sauce or whatever you like in your McDonald's fries or nuggets. So I think I'm not gonna aim for win streaks. Like, that's not my goal. My goal isn't to get 100 win streaks or whatever, because then I'll be focused on way too many things. And also at that point, I might as well be just kind of just playing, like, you know, Binding of Isaac. And talking about Binding of Isaac, but that I don't want to talk about Binding of Isaac. It's such a, I feel like Binding of Isaac has been covered. I don't know exactly by who, but it is not a new game. That's not what I'm, so there's not much to say. It's, you know, the secrets or tricks or whatever, the crazy combination of items have been, you know, revealed. There is nothing left to discover here. But I feel like there's a lack of my, the stories that I have told in the internet. Like there certainly are like hidden troves of my previous video creations. Most of it in my like unlisted videos. But it's certainly not in formats like this where I'm kind of openly talking about the stuff that I find interesting or the stuff that's going on in my life, because who really cares? I think most importantly, if I tell them in an interesting way that people will eventually find it interesting, again, if you're watching this now and you're, you want to invest by continuing to watch and really investing yourself into my stories, this is the perfect time. Why do you want to do that? Hey, I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to convince the 2 people that this video is for. Everything else is kind of a plus. If you find it, if you're an outsider and you find it interesting, that's kind of that's a bonus. That is not the main objective. I'm sure that as I continue, I'll have different ideas or different ways of delivering the things I want to say, even like how much time I want to spend in it is all gonna change. Maybe one day I'll try to, path towards getting Dead God. Do I really care about Dead God? Not really. I haven't cared for like 1,000 and some hours. I have tried to care about it, but sure, I can do it if I put another few hundred hours in it. Is that really what I want out of my spare time? Not exactly. I've done a little bit of self exploration in this regard, and I don't think it's worth my time as of yet. What else do we need to cover in a prologue? In a prologue chapter. What, when, where, when. Okay. When, I don't know exactly how often. These are gonna be recorded and posted. It's really up to like my work schedule, my personal schedule. Who knows, right? Who knows? Maybe I'll get fired from my job and I'll have all the time in the world to do this all day. Which I really hope is not the case. I really think that the interesting stories come from the stories outside of work. I think that's what I want to talk about, and that's what I'm sure other people... Well, not necessarily. I think there are interesting aspects about my work. Just that it's... If I'm doing like, if I'm making Binding of Isaac video full time, God forbid, then it just won't. I won't have any stories to tell. This is my point. I was gonna say something else. This is gonna happen a lot where I want to say something and then I have to focus for like half a second on dodging projectiles, and it, you know, it goes out my brain window and I need to find it again. My brother, again, who also kind of makes videos, he's a zoomer. So he's like, oh man, if you want to make things and you have to make a short form videos, because that's like the stuff that he watches. And honestly, I do get lost in like YouTube shorts. Am I gonna get into it? Maybe in time. Just not right now. It's not very interesting to me. And maybe that's another direction for me to kind of take this creative project. But that's not where I want to start. I don't want that to be my springboard. I want my springboard to be exactly this. Just like I'm in an ideal planet where I've done this for 5 years, I would have like 500 episodes of me just talking like this, and you know, ranting, storytelling, because that's the whole point of these video series. And I have been, my mom says I've been told I'm a good storyteller, you know, like it's like my mom says I'm a good storyteller. Not really. She doesn't know I'm doing this. And oh my gosh, I do want to like talk about my gripes with my mother. But that will be, again, that'll come in due time.
Infested.
Ooh. I really have to try to pace myself and not kind of lose it in a storytelling rant. I have been told I'm a good storyteller. This is one reason of me doing this, because I have people that agree with too many things in my life, and they're like, yeah, Kevin, you're doing great. And I'm just like, you know, over there, like, you know, playing with my balls or whatever. And they're like, yeah, Kevin, you're doing... They're just kind of enabling my, my bad behaviors, and... So yeah, you know, other people are gonna love this. Yeah, man, go for it. Sure, man, record yourself having a schizo rant and talking about really personal stuff that you really shouldn't be talking about, and really be sharing with really the therapist and like therapists and your counselors in your life. So if that's also one of the big reasons why how I even have the courage to do this, because I had a presentation at work today, and I was like, you know, I can do public speaking. I certainly that is a bold assumption that I have suddenly developed a way to do public speaking without really practicing. I thought I did okay, but you know, like, again, at work, it's like, yeah, Kevin, you did great. That was a great presentation. I have maybe I'm just really like, maybe I'm that bad. It's like, oh, you know, Kevin, he's a little special, but you can't really say that. So yeah, tell him he's doing great and pat him on his back on the way out. So I have no clue if I'm a good storyteller or a great presenter, even a good Binding of Isaac player. And this is kind of like a this is the final test of whether those people were right or if my my higher thoughts were correct. I think I'm okay, but this is certainly a way to get better. To get better at public speaking. So that is who, what, when, where, why of all this. And the goal is to do more of this in the future, and fairly consistently, I hope, and that I continue to have fun as I did with today's episode. So, thanks for watching.